Hello everybody, today I'm going to be tying the WD-50, and this was originally tied by Carl Stout, and it is sort of an offshoot of Mark Angular's WD-40. And the biggest difference between the two flies are that the WD-50 has a wing, so it's more of an active emerger compared to the WD-40, and yeah, both are very effective. I recently tied the WD-40, so I figured I should tie this as well to kind of complete the series. So, starting off for the hook, I am going to use a Tiemco 2488 in a size 18. And you could tie this in a size 18 through 22. That's what I would tie it in for Betas. But you could tie a size 16 Betas if you wanted to, or imitate a PMD. But I think this fly is best tied as a Betas in those size ranges. So, and for thread, I am using some A-Dot uni thread in Rusty Dun. And that's just sort of an Adams gray color. Nothing too special. So, and the colors really don't matter for this fly. You can change them. Super versatile as far as colors go. Like I said, you can change them for the hatch you're fishing. So, does not matter. So, just attach your thread right behind the eye, and the first material we're going to use is a little bit of mallard flank. You could use wood duck if you wanted to, but it is hard to come by, so I'm just using some mallard flank. This is in a gold color, and the way you want to prepare this feather is you want to grab the tip and peel everything else on this feather back until you're left with a few fibers remaining off the tip. And those are nice and stacked. That's what you want, because mallard flank is kind of uneven. That's why wood duck is nice. But mallard flank is hard to stack when you strip it off the stem. So it's definitely, for tails at least, it's nice to have the tips. So what you're going to do with the rest is you're just going to strip all that stuff off, and you're going to keep this, because all this fluff and all this quote unquote discard is going to be good in a second. So then we are left with the remaining tip, like so. And what we're going to want to do with this is, I just like taking a couple wraps on top of it, leaving it longer than I know I want it, and then I can sort of pull it through until I've just thread them out. I actually think that's perfect where I tied it in. But if you wanted to, when you make those two loose wraps, you can pull that stem and adjust the length of your tail. So just start wrapping backwards towards the bend, and once you get down there, you can accelerate back up towards where you tied in that mallard flank. And I'm going to try and get some of those fibers out for you with my scissors. There we go. As you can see, they're not too long. They're pretty short, really. There's more than that. About a half shank in length, though, is what you're looking for. You can see a few right there. Not anything too over the top. Especially with this fly, it could be an emerging shuck. So, keep that in mind. So just trim off the remaining mallard flank right there. And I'm going to add in a rib. And this was not included in the original recipe, so you do not have to do this. But I like the way it looks. And I like using a piece of black super hair. And the reason I like super hair over wire for this is because it takes up less. It kind of sticks off the hook shank less. So it's less kind of obtrusive and than wire. So that's why I like it for this fly. So I'm just going to lace them on top and pull it through until I have the right amount. And then I continue back to the bend where I tie in my tail. And especially in this part, trying to keep the body nice and smooth, because you'll be able to see a lot of the body on this fly, the thread body. And especially if you're not tying in a rib, it's crucial to keep that body really neat and nice. So once we do that, you can start wrapping your super hair. And the key to wrapping super hair is to keep even tension on it throughout the entire time, because if you lose tension on it, it'll unravel. Unlike wire, you will lose all your progress and you have to restart. I don't like that last wrap. It's especially difficult when you have to undo your wraps, because then if you lose tension, you lose everything. So once I do that, I'm going to pop down off that ledge where we tied off that mallard flank and take a couple wraps on top of that super hair. Then I am going to grab that discarded mallard flank that we got. So you can see I have the entire sort of stem right here. I'm looking at the very end of that stem. So not the fluff, but the good feather that we stripped off right there. So I'm going to cut that off. So it's still on the stem. We just have those nice feathers remaining. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bundle these up. It doesn't matter if they're straight or not. And I'm going to cut off the stem. And like I said, it does not matter if the tips are not aligned. Then I'm going to tie them in by the butts of the feather, the stem side, and take wraps on top of the rest of it. So right there we have our wing, and then we can trim that to length. As you can see, a nice little emerging wing. Not too much, but a nice touch. Now, for the next material, I'm going to use some medium pearl tinsel. And just going to wrap that right on top of the shank and pull that through, and then take wraps going all the way back to the wing. This is going to be our flashback for the fly. And then I'm going to grab some superfine dubbing in Adam's Gray. And we're trying to build a little thorax. It's supposed to be kind of like a football, very robust compared to other patterns. Sorry about that. Had some technical difficulties, but I am back. Like I was saying, you can always add more dubbing, but you do not want to add too much right away, because it's hard to take off your thread. So get a nice, neat, thin little dubbing noodle and start applying that onto your thorax. Working your way back to the wing, and then moving forward towards the eye. Crisscrossing over, creating a nice little football. And then we can just take a wrap on top. Sorry, fold that tinsel over, and then secure it down like so. And then we can fold that back on itself and take a couple wraps over, creating a little bit of a thread head, and then clipping that, just nicking it. You don't want to clip the entire thing, just nicking it a little bit at the base. Take your time with this step, because you want an even, there we go, you want an even tie off. And if that's sticking out still, you just take your fingernail and fold it back and take a wrap on top. And there we have it. So, as you can see, a nice neat little thread head, flashback, and a wing. And now I will whip finish the fly. With a few wraps, trying to keep on building that thread head, seating the knot, and just running your scissors along it will break that thin thread. So I'm going to flare the tail so you guys can see the length of it. But there you have it. A finished WD-50. So you guys have a straight fiber there. There we go. Really great pattern. Really effective Baetis nymph. The WD-40 is more of a... It crosses a midge and a Baetis, but this is more of a Baetis nymph. But super effective. That rib is optional, but I think it looks really good. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll be back with some more soon, and I hope you have tight lines out on the water. Have a good one.